This review was almost going to be very different. I was ready to give this film a glowing review. Superman 2 had always been my favourite Superman film, so I was surprised how much I liked the Donner cut. That is until the ending. I hated the ending. I couldn't believe they were doing that turn back time thing again, and that completely changed my review. So I'm going to try and separate the ending from the rest of the film, so that I can give you my review on all the changes in the Donner cut. This review has been a long time coming. My original Superman 2 video was quite a while ago now, and I asked for all of your opinions on the Donner cut. It's kinda crazy how my channel's come a long way since then, but now I finally watched it. I put off watching the Donner cut, partly due to how much I loved Superman 2, and secondly, because I knew they cut out my favourite line, and replaced it with something much worse.
General? Would you care to step outside?
General? Haven't you ever heard of freedom of the press?
But again, I was surprised how much I actually liked it. That was up until the ending. They redid Superman flying around the Earth and turning back time that was in the first film, and it basically makes the whole film not even happen. I was so mad when they did that. I mean, how is that different than Superman waking up at the end and realising it was all a dream? I'm just gonna have to headcanon it out. It ends with Superman destroying the Fortress of Solitude and dropping Lois back. Then maybe a scene where they return to the Daily Planet the next day and just nod at each other, acknowledging all that happened. But apart from that, I really did enjoy most of the changes, apart from a few minor ones. The opening of the Donner cut is very different, with the Paris plotline completely removed. The Paris opening was a fun bit of action, but I actually prefer the opening with Clark and Lois figuring out that Clark is Superman. The Paris plot didn't really add anything either, apart from the explosion, freeing Zod, Ursa and Non, but that always seemed like a bit of a coincidence to me, as what are the chances of them both colliding like that? The Donner cut also has a more in-depth recap on Superman 1, but it felt a bit weirdly paced for me. The original one was a bit more concise. A lot of Lex Luthor's humour is gone, and I was never the biggest fan of it, so I was glad to see it toned down in the film, though there are some new scenes with it, like the toilet scene in the Fortress of Solitude, that I guess just doesn't work for me. It's not really my sort of humour. I loved the Jor-El scenes, and it's criminal that they were cut out of the film. The scene where Clark tries to get his powers back, and he has to say goodbye to his father, were some of the best scenes in the film. I can't believe they were cut out of the film. I mean, I know why. It's because they didn't want to pay Marlon Brando loads of money, but I think the scenes are that good that they should have paid him. The romance scenes with Clark and Lois leading up to that point are also a lot better, and they feel more grounded. Superman doesn't fly off to pick her a flower, and they just feel a little more human, ironically for Superman. However, it still does happen very quickly. 1 minute Jor-El tells him he has to become human to be with Lois, and the next he's already decided that's what he wants. We also still don't see much conflict about Clark wanting to live as a normal human and with a normal life. And once he does lose his powers, I still would have liked a few more scenes, with him struggling to adjust being human and slowly realising what a terrible mistake he's made. I still love the scene where Superman realises how mortal he is, and that without him as Superman, the villains have already taken over the planet. One new scene that I really liked is quite a subtle scene, but it's when Superman decides to lose his powers, and he flies down to the chamber, even though he could easily walk, showing that he doesn't fully appreciate what he's about to lose. Another great scene is Superman destroying the Fortress of Solitude. His father is now gone forever, and he lets go of his past, and is ready to be part of Earth, even though he's still a Kryptonian. And that's where I thought it would end, maybe with a scene at the end like I said about, with Clark and Lois acknowledging what happened, and that they can't be together. But no, instead Superman flies around the Earth again, turning back time, undoing the whole film. I'm still annoyed at the ending. There were a few things I preferred in the original version. The composition for one, especially at the end of the film, as the ending, in the Fortress of Solitude, feels a little cold, ironically enough, and the old music was really something I loved in the old finale. Also, there were a few line changes I really don't like, one of which replaced my favourite line, but the other is when Superman says, "I'm not a coward, Zod." For some reason it just sounds really weird, like it was dubbed over.
I'm not a coward, Zod.
I'm not a coward, Zod.
I think I prefer the original fight. I need to see them side by side to pinpoint why I prefer it, but there's something off about the Donner cut version. A lot of the silly humour is gone in the fight, but there's something missing I can't quite put my finger on. But overall, I do actually prefer the Donner cut, and I'm surprised I did. It isn't perfect, but I like the slightly darker tone, and especially the Jor-El scenes. I think there needs to be a definitive cut that combines the best of both films. While I was never a fan of the amnesia kiss from the first version, having Superman fly around the world to turn back time, for the second time in 2 films, is really a lot worse. I don't understand why the consequences of the story have to be undone or forgotten. Isn't that the whole point of having a story? As I've said, I'm going to have to headcanon my own ending, or maybe just turn it off before it gets to that part. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments, and what's your favourite version? I'm Firelink Frontier, and if you'd like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everyone.